So I put out a video yesterday reacting to the Hydra update, and the comments on it are pretty interesting. I think this is perhaps the most divided I've ever seen the community, or I guess I should just say my comment section. Generally, there's a pretty overwhelming theme with a couple of people that disagree with whatever the theme is, whether it be positive or negative in either direction. Sometimes there's a decent amount of like discourse and disagreeing and stuff, but it seems to be pretty evenly split as I'm scrolling the comments this morning. Um, and there's a few different categories of comment, and I don't usually make videos like specifically addressing the things that go on in my comment section because I generally, while I care and I'm interested in the feedback and like engaging with some people in that way, I guess what I mean is I don't specifically address the types of comments that I'm going to be addressing today. But there's some stuff that I do feel like it's important for me to say out loud to the people that leave the types of comments that I'm going to be addressing today. There's some things that I want to make sure that I try to make clear for you that it's important to me that I've at least attempted to make you understand moving forward. Okay, um, because there's a lot of people in the comments that agree with me. There are a lot of people in the comments that disagree with me and did so in an interesting, insightful way. You know, they would disagree and then they would explain all the stuff about why they think the update is bad, and that was very interesting and insightful. And we'll talk about that a little bit as well. But then there's some people that had a few things to say. So we're going to talk about those. One of the overwhelming themes in the people who left comments without much elaboration or insight, the general theme of them was about taunt. A lot of people are really upset about my opinions on the taunt thing. So it was roughly, if you don't understand how taunt works, you shouldn't weigh in. So before we start talking about anything more specific, I want to watch the section of the video real quick where I talk about the taunt changes and see what the opinion is that I had that has so many people so upset. Okay, we're coming out of the digestion part because there were also a few people that said, "Wow, he thinks the digestion change is fine," um, and had some thoughts about that. So this is the end of the digestion section, and we're moving into the taunt section. Do I love it? No. Digestion's already hard for me to deal with, but whatever.
The Hydra has shed its thin skin, and petty insults will no longer distract it from a delicious champion meal sat right in front of it. In short, once a champion receives the mark of the Hydra debuff, they become public enemy number one. And Taunt isn't going to do anything about it. Taunt is a cool mechanic, but new champion combinations
I didn't even know
emerge
taunt was a
that
thing
could
in
totally
here.
negate the mark.
I didn't know anybody was using taunt anywhere. I almost forgot taunt was a buff. Uh, so I guess I don't have any feelings about that one. I don't know.
Less cool. It's not all bad news, though. Your team's AI will now prioritize attacking the head that is digesting when you're running in auto battle mode.
Good.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
That's really good. That's the end of my thoughts on the taunt change, which was that I have no feelings about it. So I am legitimately confused from a logical standpoint about what people are so upset at me about for my opinions on taunt when there were none. I know what's going on. I understand what's going on, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But from a logical, rational standpoint, it is very confusing to see the amount of people in my comments upset about what I said about taunt. So again, that sentiment of you shouldn't weigh in if you don't understand how taunt works. First of all, I didn't. I didn't weigh in on the taunt change. Second, and perhaps even a bigger issue to me than the first point that I just made, in that I didn't react to the taunt change, really. If I had said in that video, I don't understand the taunt thing, but the update sucks and Plarium sucks, the same people that left comments whining about my opinions on taunt would be the same people down in the comments sucking my dick about how honest I am and what a hero I am for speaking out, and I'm the only content creator that's not a shill, and all the other stupid shit that those people that leave those types of comments say. So just understand why your input means nothing to me, because there's no substance to it. It is as simple as whether or not you agree with the thing I'm saying. If you agree with it, you love me, and if you disagree with it, then I shouldn't be speaking on it at all. So your input means nothing to me. If you have nothing to add beyond just being upset about whether or not we agree, it means nothing. You could save your breath in the comments. You could save yourself a click. You could save yourself the time. You are not my target demo. I'm looking for a little bit more substance in my audience than that. So feel free to unsubscribe and watch other stuff. Okay, in your feed, there's little three dots by my video titles. You can click it and type and click "Don't recommend channel," and you'll never see one of my videos again. And that will be perfectly okay for everybody involved. Okay. I am not interested in having you here if that's the extent to which you are able to process and engage with what's going on, okay? Because again, we're not I don't even know what we're disagreeing about. You are mad at me about giving opinions on something that I did not give opinions on. So, where do we go where do we go from there? It's very weird. It's very strange. Another couple of comments were that I shouldn't have made the video because you disagree with me ultimately, but I shouldn't have made the video because all I'm going to do is piss people off. All I'm going to do is make people mad. I don't know what you want me to say to that. If you're so emotionally out of control that me having a different opinion than you on an update in Raid Shadow Legends pisses you off, that can't be my responsibility. I don't know what to tell you about. I don't know how to help you there. I can't help that. You know what I mean? I just can't help that. Again, there are plenty of people in the comments that disagreed with me. And if you just want to comment, I disagree, that's fine. You don't have to follow up. But to act like I'm supposed to just not say anything because I disagree with you is weird. That's a weird way to conduct yourself. So, again, I think maybe you're just not my target demo. If just simply having a different opinion than me upsets you that bad, then it might be a good idea to watch something else because we're probably not going to always agree on everything. So that's that. There were some good comments. There was a comment from someone named, it was Walter something. I apologize for not being able to remember the full name. But Walter went into a lot of detail about the taunt things, about the taunt changes and why, just all of the nuance to it, why it's a big deal, which again, I was not caught up on. It was very interesting. I agree 100% that the taunt change is absurd. It's stupid of them. There's a reason that I didn't know what taunt. I knew what taunt was, to be clear. There's a reason I kind of forgot it was in the game because it's just not really a thing anybody uses anywhere. I don't hear it talked about much. I don't think there's a ton of champions that do it. You just don't see it around much. So they apparently made it effective in Hydra, and now they're taking it away. They're taking away the one purpose they seemingly gave it. And that comes with a lot of consequence as far as the investments that people made. I get all that. That makes perfect sense to me. I'm totally on board. The taunt change is nonsense, okay? It's ridiculous. I understand that in this situation, Plarium really couldn't win. There's nothing Plarium could have done here that everybody would have been like, yay, right away. This self-inflicted, for sure. Most of Plarium's problems are self-inflicted. And this is no different. They let this go on way too long. They avoided some of the easier fixes they could have made. I was simply talking about what they were specifically talking about in their video. And I appreciated the difference in the communication because again, we don't get that from Plarium very often. So I've always said that I don't expect everything to be perfect, but I do expect to see what appears to be effort. This appeared to be effort to me. They communicated pretty effectively, whether or not we liked what they were saying. For the most part, they communicated pretty effectively. The taunt thing seems to be horseshit, which, again, it is Plarium. It's no surprise that there's going to be horseshit laced in. The digestion thing, You heard me say it's going to suck. I think it's going to suck. But if they wanted that to be a bigger part of the game mode, then the change is understandable. And that's kind of my feeling throughout, for everything that's not the taunt thing. It seems like they're working to have all of the mechanics work closer to the way they intended them to work originally, right? The game has developed quite a bit since the game mode came out. Are they done? Is it perfect? No. I still think the Hydra chest reward point thresholds are stupid and out of order and weird and make no sense. I think Hydra Clash as a structured thing is stupid. I think that the point thresholds need adjusting. I've heard some pretty good suggestions about limiting the amount of points you can get on each difficulty to keep people from putting up insane, virtually endless damage on normal for the sake of boosting their um, ranking and Hydra Clash. There are some good suggestions out there, and by no means was my video yesterday me going, wow, they totally fixed Hydra. Everything's good now. Hydra and Hydra Clash are where they should be. In no way was it that. But I do think that some of these in the longer term are steps in the right direction. I think, Yumiko obviously needs to be changed. The more that I'm learning about the issues surrounding her, she definitely needs to be changed. And it sounds like an easy fix. Make it where she can't reset herself. Done. So yeah, it's we're still talking about Plarium. Just because they do one thing that I'm like, hey, this wasn't awful, doesn't mean that now I'm like, everything Plarium does is good now. It's there's obviously um, ways to feel about each individual thing they do, and I'm not going to carry over. I'm not going to I'm not going to shit on everything they do for the sake of shitting on everything they do. I'm not going to shit on everything they do because they're Plarium. Uh, Again, I understand these changes to Hydra are going to make it a little bit more difficult in some cases. I don't think Hydra's ruined for everybody, to be clear. I think there's a lot of people acting like Hydra's just over for them and they'll never find success. I think that's a little bit a little bit over the top. I think that's a little over the top reaction. I understand some people just put together some teams. Trav in my Discord, he said he just spent about 80 million silver and booked a bunch of champs and got a team working and has been able to put up big damage with them once, and now that team is ruined because I think he said he built it around the taunt thing. I can't remember exactly, but like that sucks. That sucks. That's real shitty. That's a real bummer. Um, but if changes are going to be made, that's in some ways that's hard to avoid. Like, could they give everybody some resources to try to ease the pain of what you invested? Yeah, perhaps. Maybe there are some solutions to that, but that's also just kind of the way it goes. Sometimes it sucks, and I don't know that I necessarily have the answer to how to make that not suck sometimes. But there are going to be nerfs and buffs in the life of a mobile game, and sometimes the timing is going to hit you in a way that really fucking blows, and that's part of what you're signing up for. You know what I mean? That's in my experience, in my 10 years of doing this, that's just kind of the way it goes sometimes. It's happened to me multiple times in multiple games. And it's a bummer. It does fucking suck. I understand that sucks. And again, I don't necessarily know how to fix it. I've seen some games try to implement some systems where they nerf a champ, they do a refund a thing where you can put the champ in a thing and push a button and get everything that you put in them back out to put somewhere else. I think that seems pretty effective. You know what I mean? Maybe take the champs that have been affected by this and create something like that for them. So if people built Shyek specifically for this Hydra team and now he's not going to be useful and you're not going to do anything else with him, let people put him in something to refund their resources that they put into him. Seems easy enough. Will Plarium do that? Almost certainly not, because they are still Plarium, and just because they had a moment of some decent communication, and what seemed like could long term be some productive changes to the game mode, not necessarily enjoyable ones, but um, just because we've seen a glimpse of that doesn't mean anything's really even different. I'm not under the impression that now every time Plarium does something or communicates with us, it's going to be effective and efficient. That was an instance of something different that we've seen from Plarium, in my opinion. So, uh, again, I don't think it's fixed. I don't think they're done. I think there's still a lot to do. I just don't personally think that all those changes are so bad that everybody should be furious about it. I think they've done way worse stuff. I'm seeing a lot of people say this is the worst thing they've ever done. Man, I've seen. Maybe y'all are newer here. Plarium's been bad for a long time. They've been a lot worse than this. This seems like genuine effort in some ways to improve long term the game mode. I know it sucks right now, but with the squad of content creators this game has, there will be new teams. There will be new stuff put together that is doable for people. So there was also this narrative that like I don't care because it doesn't affect me, which is weird because the sentiment is also it's ruined Hydra for like mid game and basically everybody. And I don't know how that wouldn't apply to me. That's about where I am, and I just started doing Hydra, so of course it applies to me. Of course it's going to be harder. I said digestion already is hard for me to deal with, and now it's going to be worse. And there were comments like, "He loves the digestion change." Okay, well, there's no point in even trying to explain myself if that's the response. So anyway, again, the discourse in my comment section on that video has been very interesting. There's been a lot of, I would say that there's been more interesting conversation going on than the dumb stuff that we've kind of talked about in this video, which for like YouTube standards is surprising, but as far as my community, as my overall community goes on my channel, it's not really surprising because again, I've got kind of a rough idea of a target demo, and for the most part, we're hitting it. But every now and then, somebody limps in. So I appreciate everybody engaging with the video. Anybody that had anything interesting to say, even if just to tell me that you disagreed, I appreciate all that. If you were down there crying because we disagreed with each other, I you know, you don't have to be here. I would prefer that I would rather do less views and not have to be annoyed by those types of comments than do more views and get a little more ad rev over stuff like that. So, I guess that'll be it. I don't know. I don't reckon I'll talk much more about it beyond this. But I guess that's it. Have a good one. Later.